"Good morning, Shazia," I say, as brightly as I can under the circumstances, keeping my tone even, despite my lack of sleep. "Is Mariam awake? Can I speak to her, please?" My friend disappears for a couple of minutes, and I'm left idly holding the receiver, desperately trying to avoid Jamil's glare. I can detect a spark in him as he suddenly darts into his study and picks up the extension in order to listen. Now I feel really uncomfortable, as though I am betraying the girls, although I suppose he has a right to know what's being said. Perhaps he doesn't trust me to relay the conversation back to him afterwards. After a while, a sleepy Mariam answers. "Aunt Farida," she yawns loudly. "Sorry, I was on shift until late last night. Mum says you need to speak to me, although I don't really see how I can help." "Sweetheart, listen," I explain softly. "You won't get into trouble, I promise. I just need you to tell me anything you possibly can about where Uzma has gone. Her father and I are worried sick." "I don't know exactly where she is," Mariam admits after a few silent seconds. "I tried to phone her this morning, and I've sent 3 text messages, but she hasn't replied." Okay, I tell her, wondering how best to proceed. I have to be very careful with my words. "When was the last time you spoke to Uzma?" "Just before her flight, last night." Mariam sighs deeply. I can hear worry and concern in her voice, but there's another sound too. My husband breathing down the other line. "And she was catching a flight to where exactly?" I prompt gently, crossing my fingers that Mariam will take the bait, and then suddenly, when she does, I'm shocked. "Paris, of course." Both Jamil and I are taken aback. I can hear him sucking in his breath. According to the explanation in our daughter's letter, she has gone to Germany, not France. "Paris?" I repeat. "Are you absolutely sure?" "Yes, Auntie," the girl sobs, finally allowing her emotions to take over. "But I don't know whereabouts, I promise you. Uzma said she would call me when she's settled." "Okay, thank you." I pause, thinking quickly before we end the call. "Mariam, did Uzma borrow money from you before she left? I'm just wondering if she has enough cash." The question seems to startle Mariam for a moment, and she's silent. So I repeat her name and wait. "No, not from me," she tells me. "Uzma borrowed 5,000 from your bank account, Auntie Farida. But she said she's going to pay you back every penny when she starts selling her art." All hell is about to break loose in my house, and I feel suddenly quite queasy. I sit down on the bottom step before my legs give way underneath me, but not before the raging bull comes charging out into the hallway, waving this piece of evidence at me like the triumphant lawyer he is. "What does this mean?" Jamil sneers. "What account is she talking about, Farida?" His face is near mine, and I can smell the coffee and stale cigarettes on my husband's breath as he presses his fingers into my chin and turns my head towards him, catching my hair in his grip. "What money do you have? Answer me!" Despite occasions of mental cruelty throughout my marriage, my husband has never been physically abusive towards me, but I fear that today may be the first time for him to unleash his temper in a physical way. "I have tucked a little away for a rainy day," I confess, my voice barely above a whisper. "It's really not much, Jamil. Just a bit of savings."